My goal in designing the action scenes for this film were to have them come out of moments of need from the characters so that you felt really pulled into them. If the action scenes are just being watched by the audience as a matter of sheer spectacle, that's much less interesting to me.
Anytime you make a movie with a lot of action and gunfights, you want to do it in a way that you feel like you're elevating it. You want to introduce things that you haven't seen 100 times before, so it feels like you're seeing something fresh and for the first time.
Anytime you blend great choreography with great cinematography and great direction and great execution and great editing, you come out with a great product. And I think Safe is an example of that.
In any action film, the style of the action or of the gunfights is something that you talk about as specifically as you do about the dance sequences in a musical. It's got to have its own style, and it's also got to integrate into the overall world of the film in a way that's believable and makes sense.
We could go back and forth with the semantics of realistic gunfighting. We just always clear everything by saying what we appear to be realistic. Obviously, if you talk to any real law enforcement or military thing, I mean, we live in a fantasy land. We call it gung fu.
My take on gunfighting is that you will see everything in one take. You'll see the muzzle flash and the guy getting shot, where it's cause and effect is all in the same frame.
The one thing about Boaz, he wanted to do a lot of the action in one take. So it's a very testing thing to be able to do because there's so many elements that can go wrong.
In Safe, we were looking to do action that was almost believable but heightened.
The believability just comes in with the energy. I think that's what most people term as realistic. Through the way Boaz shot it and the way it was cut, it looks like Jason could actually take on, you know, a room full of Chinese gangsters with his Beretta and just clean house.
In our work with 8711 and the stunt team, that was something that we always kept an eye on. Action that was grounded and physical, but that just had that extra little something that raised it above the level of the mundane and the ordinary.
Jason had a lot of really specific ideas about the type of guns he wanted. The 8711 guys did, and that carried through to how the guns were used in the actual scenes.
It's a combination of the groundwork that you lay down in the script and then the ideas that are brought in once you start working on the scenes themselves.
And I think that's how believability comes in. And like, it's a team effort from the director to the editor to the stunt team, and then Jason obviously pouring into the role.
Action.
The steps toward building an action sequence resemble the steps that it takes to build anything else, and that the first thing is to discuss the style.
Boaz, he wanted something that, you know, was a little fresh, but not too over the top, but had the energy to it. If I told you draw a tree and I drew a tree, we'd probably have two very different trees. So we found out the best way to collaborate is usually go draw a tree and then go ask you, is this what you're thinking of?
The actual fights weren't storyboarded. However, they were pre-visualized. And these guys are the best at it. What they do is you talk about the scene, you talk about what the elements are, what you want to see done, what some of the angles are that you want to see captured.
And then we start shooting some ideas on our cameras and putting them together to show the director and say, hey, what do you think? And that's where it's born. Like, oh, I love that. Oh, well, I'm not so much that. So we know the stuff he loves. We start working in that direction.
Just spin around, shoot Jeremy, get Justin, you know, use them, just weave it into a sequence.
You say, you know, I love this part of it, but maybe this is too much, or we should add this, or maybe this angle, let's not shoot any high angles, because I don't know whose point of view that is. That's where, I guess, as a director who isn't specifically an action director, you can lend your perspective to an action scene that gives it whatever its unique taste is.
Once you know that, how we shoot our tests, we try to mimic what we think is going to develop to be the style of the film.
So they pre-visualize it, and then you get there on the day and hope it all works the way you planned it, because sometimes it doesn't, and then you have to adjust when you're there.
I think great choreography doesn't come from one source, it comes from a talent pool. And especially when we got to Philly and we saw the locations for that whole casino business, a lot of great ideas were born there.
Longer lens on these guys shooting and into the background running away.
And I think the most obvious thing that separates a day where you're doing a lot of action work is safety. So there's always a lot of safety preparation and making sure everyone knows what they can and can't do.
Everyone's running out. Maybe we should have a few ladies like right in this.
One of the things that's sort of unique about this film is that nearly all the action scenes take place in very crowded environments. There's always dozens of extras running in between the people who are shooting at each other, and it's very chaotic, and it can be very dangerous.
You'll be covering and shooting, covering and shooting. So I need to put
You know, it would have been great to have 600 stunt people on that show, but we didn't. You know, we had 300 or 400 extras and, 15 stunt people.
We're going. All right, let's do it. Here we go, please. All right. And 3.
The tricky part is keeping all of those extras safe from when you have a little bit of pyro going off, you have muzzle flashes going off, you have hot brass flying, you have people running, people falling. It's keeping them out of it. So it's chaotic. But rehearsal, rehearsal, rehearsal.
By the time we arrive on set, we're pretty dialed in. I think everyone knows what they want. It's been rehearsed with the cast members. The stunt teams have rehearsed. Our effects department knows exactly where the squibs are going. If you have a really good crew that's well rehearsed, it goes a lot smoother than most people think.
Using real blanks and things like that is very dangerous. In older movies, you'll very, very rarely, never really, see a scene where in the same shot, 2 people are shooting at each other and there's people running in between them, because you can get killed that way.
So if I'm going to shoot you right here in the head, obviously I can't use a blank. But you want to see smoke come out, or you want to see light come out. So there's certain guns for that. There's certain guns for kind of every type of situation.
We've got great toys. We've got non-guns, we've got airsoft guns, we've got all these guns that actually fire and don't fire blanks, so we can be incredibly safe depending on the range.
Every time you do a particular take, you have to look at the type of shot it is and how safe it is and the type of gun you're using. And you have to make a decision right then and there.
They don't want him to fire going down, so we should have a hot weapon in the middle, right?
And that's good. That's what we'll do.
Thank you. Yes, you're good.
It's so time-consuming to shoot. Everyone's got to have the fucking earphones and the things and the this, and everyone's got to clear out. Just to get one person shooting at someone else can take forever. Whereas if you just use guns that are popping the sort of half squibs or whatever, and then add in the muzzle flashes later, you can just shoot, 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 shoot. Now, it's a little expensive in that you have to add in some effects later on, but the benefit and the cost benefit that you get for the amount of footage that you can shoot and the speed at which you can move through an action scene so outweighs the benefit of the old school, big old blank making a frickin' thunderous noise that's unbelievable.
For this shot, right, let's just blow 2 squibs. Okay, perfect.
We take 3 departments usually. It's us, the stunt department, visual effects, and special effects. And then we problem solve. Special effects offers their solutions, visual effects offers theirs, we offer ours. We go around whatever complements the shot the best, that's what we use, whether it's a CG muzzle flash, a blank, a squib, or CG blood hit. We try to place the proper solution to every problem.
3, 2, 1, action!
That was a real benefit of the technology today, is that you can just have 100 things going on and create a scene that makes you feel like you're in the middle of people shooting at each other and hundreds of people getting in the way.
Something about seeing everything going off at once, it's pretty real. So if I can get the audience to shift in their seats a little bit, I've done my job.
I've managed to create characters in an environment where the audience feels connected to what's going on emotionally. And then the action scenes have a kind of a value and an intensity that are what I was trying to reach with the film.